limitations, insecurities, nothing is needed for you to exist. Paramashiva alone is enough for you to live absolutely, blissfully, celebrating, fulfilled, complete, intensely. Mahavamashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nityananda Paramashivoham.
Nityanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadhilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nityanandam. I welcome all the viewers who have joined with us in Kailasa's digital platforms for this segment, and also all the participants who have joined with us for kickoff program for Paramashivam. I welcome one and all. It is our pleasure to connect with all of you in once again revealing and sharing how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been reviving the Sanatana Hindu Dharma in every aspect, in every way. And today, we are going to be having panelists from different backgrounds who are going to come here and share how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has deeply impacted their lives and how they truly started enjoying every walks of life by practicing Sanatana Hindu Dharma. And today, it is going to be a very powerful sharing segment. And also, one other takeaway from this segment, I would say, is just by innocent surrender to the divine, how you can manifest anything in your life is one takeaway I think I would like to share from this segment. And would like to also tell all the participants, your feedback, your comments, and how you feel listening to these sharings is too important to us. And I request all of you to post your comments in the YouTube chat, or you may also log into the QR code is being projected. There is an event page that's created in Facebook. So if you click on the QR code, you'll be directed to an event page, and you can share your feedback and comments and whatever you feel like sharing, just listening to all these powerful testimonials, please do that. And it is my pleasure to have all of you in this segment today, and it is going to be a truly wonderful sharing session. There are so many things that we can learn from this. So let's enter into the segment without any delay. Yes, and it is my pleasure to welcome all the panelists who have joined with us today from various backgrounds, from various traditions, born and brought up from different traditions, but how all of them are truly inspired to practice and live Sanatana Hindu Dharma just by inspiration and how Swamiji has guided all of them in their lives. It's so beautiful to hear. And it is my pleasure to welcome all of you. And first, we have Srinithy Padmanupananda Ayya, Nityananda, and he's from Melbourne. Great. And we also have Manitya Dhyanagambyananda,
Nityanandama.
Yes, Nityanandam. And she's also from Melbourne, Australia. And Padmanupananda and Dhyanagambya are couple, and they have 8 children. All of them are truly inspired by Sanatana Hindu Dharma, and they literally play and live with the deities. So that's the introduction I would like to give about the divine kids that they have. And we also have Erina Marino, and she is Sarvanga Pita Yajaman, the founding father of Kailasa, founding mother of Kailasa Nation. And she is mother of Padmanupanandaya and grandmother of these beautiful 8 kids who are divinely blessed by Swamiji, and how they grew up in the ecosystem is something so beautiful. And we also have Alkesh Patel, and he's a doctor who's practicing in California, and he also has some wonderful stories to share with us. So I welcome all the panelists today who are going to share their journey about Swamiji, their journey, how they started their journey with Swamiji and how it transformed their lives. So firstly, we'd like to hear from Padmanupananda, Nityananda Padmanupa. And what would you like to share with all of our viewers? How did it start? Coming from completely different backgrounds, say indigenous Maori background in New Zealand, how did you get inspired in this journey of meeting Swamiji and living Sanatana Hindu Dharma?
Yes, man. Nityananda, thank you for having us, and thank you, Bhagavan, for enabling us, giving us this platform to share. So going back to where we come from in New Zealand, like we're from a rich, like a family which is rich in the culture of Māori tanga, which is both my grandfathers were heavily involved in sharing it and enriching people with the culture. So I was brought up around those people, and it created the foundation where it led me to where I am now. But along my journey, something was missing where I felt something was missing. So I had, at that time, I was with Madhyana Gamya. We are having some kids before we met Swamiji. And actually, what was our life was full of, it was just full of, we started, both me and her, we began work at 14 years old. So from the 14 year, we started full-time work. We left school. We weren't together, but it just worked out. We were doing the same pathway. So
Wow.
we started full-time job from then. So and that was our life all the way.
So both you and Dhyanagambya knew each other since 14, is it?
No, we met later on, but that's when we started the work life.
Okay,
and that was literally all we did. So our whole 24/7 was literally, at one point we were doing multiple jobs at the same time, and we were having kids. But what was happening was we are working for something, but every time we are having this problem about money. So we are working so much for money, but always we were arguing constantly with the issue of money. Every time Madhyana Gamya would buy something, it would trigger something in me. It would cause some frustration, some fear would come up like this. So this was the constant battle. Even at one point, we were saving majority of our earnings, like 70-90%. Even when she's going to buy something, then it's still causing suffering and pain inside me. So we are doing this. So we are working for money, never having that. And what is happening to our kids? So our kids actually, obviously, they are not having us there because we are both working all the time. And when we are not working, we are just in front of the TV screen or sleeping, something like this. Actually, the quality time that we were able to give to our kids, it was non-existent. We didn't even know there was a problem, actually. To be honest, we thought we were good parents. You know, we are doing what everyone else is doing. So that's how we functioned. And at one point, something just clicked inside of me, and it's that made me want to find something else. Say, is this all that there is to life? Can something more be, you know, can it be greater than this? So the seeking started, and eventually I found Swamiji's video on YouTube. And actually I can still vision the video. It's Swamiji, he's in the white sari. You know, he's sitting in Padmasana on the throne. I can see it. And he's teaching some meditation about Kundalini awakening. You know, I have no idea about anything Hinduism. I don't know. I've never been with Indian people or anything like this. So I know zero. And no meditation. I don't know anything about this. But something, I don't know, something just connected me to that. So I just sit outside. I'm doing this meditation like this. And this is going on. And I find that Bhagwan is conducting a 21-day retreat. And so it was like my Pranabha is saying that this innocent surrender. And I feel it was just that I can't explain it because it's not logical for me, is that I just decided I'm going. At the time, my Dhyanagami is in New Zealand, and it's costing 12,000 USD. And we just bought a house with mom and them. We just brought our own business. We just started a business. So we are no longer working for others. We are, you know, we have to be self-sustaining. And so this is all happening at the same time. So I just called. I've already decided. I'm clear. I'm going. I've just called Madhyana Gamya. I just call her and say, I'm going to India. I'm going to do this program. It's for 21 days and it's $12,000. And for us, it's like 16 or 17,000 Australian dollars. And she's like, what's going on?
So he gave me this call, and I was like, what do you mean you're going to India? Why are you going to India? I said, out of all places in the world, you're going to India? And he's like, yes. He said, I'm going to India. And I said, okay, I'll talk to you when I get back from New Zealand. Anyway, I end up coming home, and he says, I'm going to this program. And I don't think I even asked him, what is the program about? Maybe I did, but I said, what are you going to do in this program? Or what is this program going to be about? And he told me a little bit about it. And I said, oh, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in this. He said, do you want to come? I said, oh, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. You can just leave me out of it. Then I went to a devotee from Melbourne came to Alice Springs, where we were living at the time. And she was hosting a week before the Inner Awakening, she was hosting a workshop, which was the Spiritual Laws of Attraction workshop. And she met us, and from just seeing this devotee, the space which she was carrying, that got me intrigued. And I was like, wow, she's very confident. And then I moved and I wanted to enter into this program. I wanted to go and see what it was all about. I went to the program for a week, 2 days. But on the very first day, on Swamiji's darshan, when the curtains opened, something shifted inside of me, which I was like, I don't know how to explain it, but like a fulfillment happened. And I just felt so happy, like so blissful when I seen him. And I couldn't explain it. And then we went on to a break, like a food break. And I said to him, I told him, I said, Ma, I said, not Ma, sorry. I said, I want to come to this program too.
So at this time, I'm thinking this is crazy because actually, so I met Swamiji. I found Swamiji maybe a month before, you know, and I did everything. I did every single action was towards manifesting this reality, manifesting this money, flights, everything. So I know I exhausted everything. I exhausted her bank account, everything. I did it, everything. And so when she comes to me and she says, I'm coming, I'm feeling it's good, but I you know, how's it going to happen? Because we didn't even know completion, nothing. We didn't know anything about Swamiji, actually. We didn't know you can manifest this great things, nothing. We just, I don't know, for this, you know, innocent surrender, you know, I feel that's just the key word that just we have in that space, and somehow Swamiji's pushing us towards. So
Yes. And then
Oh,
from
wow.
that innocent surrender, I declared that I'll be going to this program. And then also my mother-in-law, she decided she wants to come to the program. And then from that, we got a call from Swamiji, Dial the Avatar. And we got a phone call personally from Swamiji. And I couldn't explain it because I never knew anything about a guru before this, nothing about Hinduism. And I felt such excitement and such blissfulness, like ready to hear Swamiji's voice. And I couldn't explain it because if I'm talking to anybody else, it's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk to them. But this one, I couldn't help it. I felt so happy and blissful to be speaking to him. Then when the phone call came, he asked, what do you want? What do you like? And I said, I want to come to Inner Awakening, Swamiji. I want to come to Inner Awakening. He says, you'll be there. Then the same answer my mother-in-law, she said, I want to be in Inner Awakening. She said, you'll be there. So there was no doubt from that time that we were going to be there. Like something changed and just said, oh, we knew we were going to be there. We didn't have any funds, nothing. We had already exhausted all for Paramarupa. But just that intention and deciding yes to go to this program, everything just manifested beautifully. So in 1 week, we manifested the money for us to both go to the Inner Awakening, flights and everything, and for visas, just by saying yes. And then...
So this was what happened. So they put their visa in 2 days before we left. They got the confirmation. They got the confirmation that night we were leaving, and hers came back declined. So when that came, she was like,
when my visa came back declined, I was very distressed. I was crying, actually. I was crying. I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to go. I'm not going to be able to see, go to the program and see what it's about and everything. I was actually crying, like literally tears. And because it was midnight, so I was like, there's nothing else I can do. You know, they say you can't reapply for the visa until 24 hours. It takes 2 days. We were leaving that next day, that morning. And, but I just keep hearing Swamiji saying, you'll be there. You'll be there. So from that, I took action and I reapplied again instantly, even though it says you're not supposed to, but I did. When we ended up leaving to the airport, I still went and did everything. I went to the airport. I got to Sydney airport and I had received the email and that my visa had come in granted. It was accepted. And I was like, just by saying yes and not giving up, I was able to carry on and go and do that.
So yeah, I feel like one big thing was just Bhagavan, he can just literally, when he says it, like when he blesses it, like you literally, it's not up to you anymore. Like literally, he does everything. We just have to we just make sure we don't go against the flow. But that was it, man. It was a great experience.
Yes.
I think that's truly magical because in many ways you can, one thing which I really learned from what you guys are sharing is just being there and seeing the flow of life, right? Coming from a different cultural background, though it is indigenous tradition, like you mentioned that it has its foundation and roots and everything. And when Swamiji happened in your life, it's all about saying yes to it and saying, okay, how can I make it happen, right? So whether you have resources or not, but really thinking about this is the possibility that future holds for me and saying yes to it. And like what Madhyanagama, you also mentioned, originally, what was your reaction? But when you had that experience, you really went with the flow, and you didn't bother if the visa was getting rejected or anything. You just wanted to be there, and just by that trusting Swamiji's blessings, having that faith that he is going to make it happen from that space, operating and then applying, and then just being there. It's really fantastic. And what are the changes that you all experienced? All three of you being in Swamiji's presence in Varanasi, and definitely Varanasi is a center for Hinduism, like so rich in Hindu tradition, whether it is in terms of Naga sadhus or all the temples and the lanes and Ganga. So it must truly be something so fascinating for you coming from New Zealand and witnessing all of that, and much more to that is Swamiji's initiations and all the processes. How was it for you, and what was the everlasting change that you experienced being in the presence of Swamiji?
So for me, exactly, Ma. We have never gone. The farthest we have gone is to Australia. So going all the way across the planet, to a new country, and the culture in India is completely different than anywhere else. So going there, being in Varanasi, actually, it's one of our most memorable, cherished memories, actually, and experiences is being in Varanasi, and it facilitated and guided by Swamiji. Like, that is the greatest thing. He opened up all these temples that we are not normally able to attend, and just because of being his disciples, we were given the space, and to visit and get darshan from all these deities. So like it's beyond words what Bhagavan put into this 21-day program, a 5-star hotel, all these gifts, like so much gifts, just the food, just the sattvic organic food. It is just so many different varieties, just catering to everybody, and just for a very few amount of people. Let's say there was only about 100 of us, and literally every day somebody sitting from morning till night. When we are he'll tell us go for 1 2 3 break. He'll say like this, go to 1 2 3 go, and he'll just sit there all day. He'll just sit there and wait for us, and people are coming back here and there while somebody's just sitting patiently waiting for us. So this one of the greatest breakthroughs that happened to me was that, like I said, my relationship was, it just was what it was. It was just we are there, we live together. That's what it was. And only after did we realize, actually, this is a funny story, because actually we were going to register on the day, and Manyanatma's Swami's there, and she's taking us and she's assigning the rooms, and me and her are together, and we pinned down, and she asked us if we're married. And I say, oh no, ma. So she goes, oh, you have to be in a male body room and female body room. So I said, oh ma, we have kids, ma. We have kids for a long time. We've been we're just not married on paper. And she says, we have to, this is it. This is how we do in Kailasa, like this. So actually at that time I was feeling, I have to be with someone else, and I it's more comfortable if I'm with ma. Actually, this whole program, I didn't talk to her or even be with her that whole time. And it was such a blessing not to be. Actually, it was. Yeah. And just to be by yourself and work on yourself, you just have to trust something. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I'm tempted to make a comment, but I'll just leave it to you to continue the experience.
No, make the comment, ma. I'm
right. So, but then, one of the things that you beautifully brought out is the power of initiation, and the moments with Swamiji is something so beautiful. It's just him sitting with all the participants and all the darshans and amount of time that he spends, right? Literally for all of us to get that particular breakthrough. that physical darshan is something so beautiful. And now, just the Kailasa is going to be opened this year. Maha Kailasa is going to be opened this year for all the participants and citizens. And this is going to be a huge moment for all the humanity who's just waiting for the Maha Kailasa to open. Last 5 years, when all of us are literally missing Swamiji's physical darshan and blessings. This is a beautiful moment for all of us. And all it really takes is a few of us coming together and really making an intention to be part of contributing towards the seed infrastructure. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has made the Kailasa happen. It is recognized in United Nations. It is entered into a bilateral relations with several countries. Every day there is so much of breakthrough that's happening in front. And all it requires for Maha Kailasa to open to one and all, where we can experience these beautiful darshans and initiations, is really all of us coming together towards this divine cause of contributing $100 million together towards this seed infrastructure, right? So every single Sarvanya Pita Ejaman contribution and every single person who's contributing towards the Kailasa is going towards this divine purpose of making the Maha Kailasa open by completing the seed infrastructure starting for the nation. And I request everybody, whoever is out there, if you really feel that, I've been missing Swamiji's session, I've been part of Swamiji's programs, and it means the world to me to receive his actions and initiation. I think all we need to do is just come together and make the decision, whatever we have, let us contribute towards this purpose. Humanity can never miss Swamiji, and he's making himself available, but nothing like having that personal darshan, right? So let's all work towards making this Maha Kailasa open, and all you need to do is sign up in the link that's been shown, sksjp.org/contribute. Your contribution towards this seed infrastructure of Kailasa will make the Maha Kailasa open to one and all the citizens, all the participants, all the disciples and devotees, everybody can be with Swamiji physically in Maha Kailasa. All that requires is you deciding to sign up today. Just like how Padma was sharing, coming from a background where you're literally struggling for money, especially having 3 kids, working hard, but you still have those struggles of how you want to manage day-to-day lives. But from that space, being able to see this higher possibility, right? So, and then extending that possibility not just for himself, but really for his family, and all of them being in the presence of Swamiji. Now, few years later, their complete life is changed, right? So your decision today to make the Maha Kailasa open, from wherever you are, right? Whatever your means are, whatever your positions are, whatever you can contribute, when you start taking that first step, right? You don't need to know the whole pathway that's ahead, but by making that first step, you are going to give a breakthrough for yourself, and you are going to say yes to that superconscious breakthrough, and you are going to say yes to the rest of the humanity who's all waiting just to have that one physical darshan and initiation from Swamiji. So I request all the participants to make it a point to sign up in sksjp.org/contribute. Right, and yes, would like to hear from you, Ma Dhyanagamya. What are the different things? I remember you actually became third eye demo ready person, right? And that was the time when Swamiji was initiating masses into the science of third eye awakening. And here I am sitting in Melbourne watching the glimpses of Inner Awakening program, and I was so surprised that you came there and you had to do the demonstration of third eye blindfold reading. That was terrific. So would you like to share your experiences, what you learned from the program, and what were your experiences with Bhagavan?
Yes, Ma. So, as I wanted to say, you were talking about the physical darshans, and I wanted to share my experience about my first physical darshan of Swamiji. And I remember on our first day, we went up to darshan. My legs and everything were trembling. My whole body was trembling. I had this very fear of being on the stage. Even if I'm not speaking or speaking, I just have a fear of being on stage fright, fear of public speaking, everything. And so my whole body, my whole nervous system was trembling, shaking. And I remember getting to the top of the stairs and I felt like I was just going to collapse because that's how bad my legs were trembling. So I went to the disciple who was by Swamiji, and I had a piece of paper and I handed it to them. And I didn't know what to do, but they said, just go sit there in front of Swamiji. I was like, okay. But like, I was so nervous, and I went to go kneel down. As soon as Swamiji put his hand on my head, the whole body just relaxed. And I can even remember it now and feel it now. The whole body just relaxed and it felt calm. I felt in a blissful state. And I was like, what is this? Before, just 1 second ago, my nervous system was going crazy. Just by one touch from Swamiji, my whole body just calmed down and I was like in a blissful state. And then, as everybody noticed, that physical darshan from Swamiji, when you go down, you're just in a state of blissfulness that you don't even know what's happening around you or of anyone speaking to you, because you're just in a bliss, you know. So I was just walking around. I said, nobody should miss a physical darshan. If anybody ever gets a chance to do that, they should really be there, you know, and experience that, because it's out of this world. And as for the third eye demo ready and everything, I just remember feeding on that stage, and I just knew Swamiji is there, and it gave more power to me, even though I still had that fear and everything and completion. But when I got up there in front of Swamiji, I just knew, okay, I can drop this because he's gonna take care. He's gonna take care. So I went and I started speaking. I just started talking. Whatever was coming out of my mouth, I just let it come out. Whatever it was, I didn't know what I was speaking, but I just let it come out. And that's just how everything, even from that day, from that day on, I've been able to speak in public things, speak to people, because it was really, really bad. Like, I never liked talking to anybody, even new people. I didn't like speaking. I was too shy. But after that one incident with Swamiji, how the whole initiations and everything, it broke that down for me. And that's what a blessing it is from Swamiji. And he's changed our life so much just from that day. Just from attending this 21 days, he changed our whole entire life, from past to now. So that's
I think, I'm sure the viewers also will agree to me. Never we could have recognized or cognized that you had issues in, you know, connecting with people and talking, because you speak so well coming here in this platform, and you're able to converse, you're able to express the whole journey so beautifully. And that actually shows the power of transformation, right? You don't even know the effort that's being, you don't need to sit and practice or anything, just that initiation, yes. How that effortlessly, without even you working for it, it just does the magic, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes, Ma. Yes.
So beautiful. And we have Ma Erina Marino. Would like to hear from you. Seeing your kids, just blossoming so beautifully in inner awakening. What were your thoughts, how they were growing up, and at the same time, your personal journey, how Swamiji transformed your life?
Oh, Ma, that was my personal journey. I originally lived in Alice Springs, which was about 36 hours away, and I got to see and hear what my children were doing at the temple, and my grandchildren, and they were doing magical things. They were staying at the temple. There was lots of celebration, and I wanted to be there. That's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in Melbourne, and I made a decision, Ma, to be in Melbourne. I made a decision to be in Melbourne, and I went like this. I want that house on that day. That's exactly what I did. I never looked at any other house, and I never looked at any other day. I just said, I want that house on that day, and that's exactly what I got. And that was about 10 minutes away from the Melbourne temple. So that, I started my journey at the Melbourne Temple about, so I've been here for about just over a year and a bit, yeah. But I first started, again, I went with my children to Varanasi, and that was just amazing. Well, I was sitting there on the seat, and a lot of people, one of the Gurukul come up to me and said, "Ma, so how did you find the 21-day program?" And I said, I have never ever in my whole entire life been to anything where I've had to find out about myself. And I didn't like about myself. I didn't like it at all. Oh my gosh. Oh, geez. But it was magical. It was just fantastic. We went to all the temples, and I had a fear of death. Throughout my whole of my life, I had this big, huge fear about death. And I got to go to the crematorium site down at there. And never in my life have I witnessed people carrying bodies, and they're just walking past you, and that's sort of like, But my journey there was just amazing. And when I came back from there, I said to my children, okay, when my body passes its life, you're not to take me back to New Zealand. You just burn me. Whenever you visit India, you just take me there and sprinkle me in the Ganges. That's exactly what I felt like then. So it was magical for me. Absolutely magical.
That's really beautiful. And one of the things that you mentioned about the death meditation, right, that you had in Manikarnika and the Ganga Ghats, is like something so powerful. One of the beautiful processes that Swamiji has given to the world. How we can exit gracefully, right? How we can overcome all our fears just by having that experience, death meditation, conscious death meditation. How we can overcome all our fears, and that is what, so many such powerful experiences is what Swamiji is giving through Mahaparamashivam also. And in Mahaparamashivam, Swamiji is guiding all the participants, step by step, how you can experience that superconscious breakthrough, right? So you start off as a human being, but in the end of 21 days, you start realizing that you are nothing less than Paramashiva, and just experiencing the deep oneness with Paramashiva and expressing all the possibilities, whatever Paramashiva was able to express, we also manifest all those superconscious powers. So this beautiful journey of 21 days is something so phenomenal that Swamiji is taking every program to a next level. That is completely on the consciousness of the human beings, how receptive we are. Based on that, he is just elevating our frequencies. That is why, no two programs are the same. I'm sure you guys must will also agree, because you've attended several programs and never it is the same, right? Even if it is the same program, the next time it is completely different experience. It is different initiation and everything, because Swamiji sees how all of us respond, what is our frequency, and based on our human consciousness, Swamiji gives and reveals the next truth and next initiations. So, we are going to be having next Mahaparamashivam coming up very soon. So with that, we can actually start your intention. You can start your journey, express your interest to be part of this Mahaparamashivam celebrations. You can sign up in paramashivoham.org, and you can also sign up and show your intention in sksjp.org/contribute. If you want to experience something so powerful, so magical, like how this beautiful family, having the roots as Maoris, and how they're able to find themselves, that whole real Hindu identity, and sharing such powerful breakthroughs, in a very simple way, how they're able to manifest things, how they're able to connect with people, how they are able to manifest powers, overcoming all the SDHDs in a very simple, beautiful way, how they're able to share. It is a possibility for all of us. So I request everybody to take this moment and say yes to this possibility, right? One thing which I'm sure all of you all, whoever is listening to this, can definitely correspond is how they are able to connect and say yes to new possibilities whenever it is coming in your lives, saying yes to it and then taking that one step. So requesting all of you, whoever feels inspired, whoever feels that, yes, I also need this breakthrough in my life, here is the possibility for you. You can sign up in parameshwamoham.org, or you can sign up in skshjp.org/contribute. And I would like to now, further listen to all your amazing sharings. So, from Varanasi, having all these breakthroughs, you've come back to Australia, and then how this journey further progressed in terms of whether it is you becoming a Sarvanipita Yajaman, or whether Padmarupa and Dhyanagambya become, start taking up the entire Melbourne ecosystem, starting the temple and making sure that all your kids are growing up in that India. It's beautiful. And how did that journey start?
So so to fast forward a bit, but basically, so we got there was a call we got. So actually before that, coming from Alice Springs, at that point we were in Alice Springs, and I feel it's one of the most biggest experiences that I have of Bhagwan, and how he just takes care. Like, it was literally so deep in me that, like, you just don't have any fear anymore. Like, it literally is that you just don't have any fear anymore. So I'll let Ma actually was bugging me constantly. Let's go back to Marvel. Yeah, and lots of fears were coming up.
So that was Ma Dhyanagambya who used to tell you to go back to Melbourne.
Yeah, she's like, let's go. Sure. Like, we have to go back now. And 1 month later.
Is it because of the temple or any other reason? Like, why was she interested to go back to Melbourne?
Yes, it was the temple and to be with Sangha.
Sorry, not able to hear you.
So what happened was, actually the core was it wasn't the right ecosystem for us there. Like, at that time we were there, we saw our kids. Actually, we put our kids in for like one term.
School.
1 term. I was so against it and everything, but it did it. And we just watched how everything, this was after coming, after being with Swamiji and everything. And this was the very first time that we went back into the, the normal world. And like, the experience we got was I feel it was such an important lesson of what I don't want to manifest in my life. Because at that time, before meeting Swamiji, it's normal, like. But after meeting Swamiji and you going back there, you realize how it's not for me. It's not for me anymore. So, like, that keep coming up. Let's go back. So.
Yes. So I was keep telling them, let's go back to Melbourne, because I want to be back with the temple and back with Sangha, and definitely be there to be closer to Swamiji. That Murti deity was there as well. So that was my real, like, urge to go back. We suddenly decided, like, we decided we were going to go back to Melbourne. And it was funny because we had just opened another business, and it was a vegetarian cafe. And at that time, it wasn't making much money at that time. And I had stopped working at my other job. So we didn't have anything money to go. But when I decided, Swamiji did one satsang, and he did one initiation where we had to fill out our calendars, and we had to write on specific dates, like when we want some things to manifest. In this month of January, I put down everything I wanted to manifest in this month. Okay, I put the date that I wanted to leave Alice Springs and be going back to Melbourne. But we needed a camper van from this company. They were non-existent for a very long time. And I rang them up and they said they weren't getting any back until like maybe a month or so. a month or so. And then once I made the decision that I wanted to go back on this day, and Swamiji went through the initiation, the next day I looked on the waiting list, and there was a camper van ready to hire to leave on that same day that I had put on the calendar. That Swamiji initiated. That same day, the camper van was ready to go. I was ready to hire, and they rang me up and said, you can take it.
For $1.
For $1.
$1
$1 a day.
Wow.
So I was like, this is just Swamiji. Now, everything I wrote on that calendar from the months on manifested in those exact dates. So like we were going there, we only had a little bit of savings from working, but we just packed up everything. We sold what we could sell. We packed up our whole family. We put them in the camper van and we left.
Wow, this was my first experience of Abharagraha. We just got rid of everything. You know, we'll have these boxes outside our room, and we'll have like winter clothes, and you'll just have lots of stuff. And actually going through it, and we're like, no. That was the first experience of, no, if I need this jacket, I will just get one when I need it. You know, why am I holding these things? Anyway, we couldn't hold it. We had to get rid of it anyway. So we just got rid of everything.
Yes. So we ended up selling what we could and getting rid of everything. And we were traveling to Melbourne. There was many experiences along the way were very miraculous. They were coming from Swamiji.
No, because actually what happened was there's such anxiety and fears that were, you know, stopping us, like trying to say, no, don't do this. You know, like she was actually a month due. So the next baby was coming in like 1 month. So we didn't have a car. We didn't have a place to stay. We didn't have a job. That's what we had. So, but we had Swamiji. This was our core. Like it was such a powerful core that like we are only relying on Swamiji. And that was both our powerful declaration, both of us, for every single thing. It was such a powerful thing that I did not even ask her for anything during that whole process. Let's say it was over a couple months. That entire process, I did not rely on her for anything. I only relied on Swamiji. Yes. So that was that whole thing. So it eventually led, we went through many things during that journey. But on that one day we were traveling and stuff. We were in Melbourne and we were here, and she just decided she was over it. I want a house now. She just decided I want a house.
So, and it came so powerfully. Like we had been enjoying traveling Melbourne. We were traveling Melbourne for about 1 month. And then I just decided one day, okay, now I want a house now. I want a house. We still didn't have no job, no income, nothing. And I just decided that day, I declared out loud to Swamiji, today I want a house. Anyway, that day we drove 2 hours into the city and we were sitting at this park, and I decided to call a few real estates. And I called them and they said, oh no, we have nothing available. I just then declared again, I want a house today. I then called another real estate, and we had rented with them before, but I had rented with them before, and he was talking to me, and I told him our situation and everything. And then he said to me, you can come in to this office now, and I'm going to give you the keys to the house. You can sign the papers and everything the next day. But you can come in now. It's like maybe 4 p.m. in the afternoon, so they close in 1 hour. He said, you just come in now, pick up the keys. It was a brand new house. And he said, you can pick up the keys and you can go into the house. When I got
on
there,
the very same day.
Very same day. The very
That's
same
like
day.
Totally impossible.
Exactly.
I've lived in Melbourne for 5 years. Without reference, they do lots of checking. There's a lot of paperwork. It's not very easy to find a house in Melbourne and settle on the same.
Like 50.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
Exactly, Ma. And then just from that decision, he said, come to the office, I'll pick up the keys and you can move in there tonight. We didn't even have to sign lease papers. We didn't have to sign any documents to say anything. On that time, he gave us the keys. And the son was there, and he's like, no, they can only go in there tomorrow. They had to do this. And the person said, no, they can go in there now. Just give them the keys. They can go there tonight and go stay. And I was like, this is only Swamiji, because we were expecting anything. But it was a brand new house.
Actually, the best house we've had in Melbourne. Like literally, we had many houses when we were in the temple at different times, and like they were very old houses. But this time, literally, we did nothing. We're just cruising around Melbourne. We're just having such a blissful time with the kids. They're having such an enjoyment. You know, we decided to be here with Swamiji. We are not relying on anyone. At that time, we weren't relying on mom, her mother, nobody, because we were very clear we were here just for Swamiji. We did not want to go back to that, be brought back into that, lifestyle. So it was such a powerful experience. And then at that time, we got a call. So we were in this house for maybe 1 month, and we got a call saying, okay, this is what's happening with the Melbourne temple. The current people are leaving. While I'm hearing this, I'm thinking, I want to go there. Actually, I've already decided I'm already going there. And then now I just have to tell Ma. So I just go, okay, I just hang up, and then I talk to Ma. I said, this is happening.
I had a little bit of fear, like, just because, you know, we had been to the temple before, and it's really nice, but I had just a bit of fear coming up. But then I just remembered, I'm here for Swamiji and I'm going to the temple. Once I dropped that, we decided we are moving to the temple. And this is in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
This is in the middle of COVID. We weren't allowed to leave our homes. We weren't allowed to go 5 kilometers of anywhere. And they weren't allowing people to move homes. So we were able to move from the
I think it's not a very simple decision, because you guys have, at that time, I think you had about 6 kids, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So you had about 6 kids, just moved into a new house, just settling in. And then when I said that, okay, guys, take care of the temple, there is really not a house, and it's in the rural part of the Melbourne. It's really not in the central Melbourne. So you have to travel about 1.5 hours to get anything, right? It's not an easy decision, but you guys did not have any resistance at all. It was truly inspiring, because having 6 kids, moving into a new place, and you've just settled down in some place, you just have to scrap everything from whatever you've done, and then immediately move into something where it is unknown and you do not know the circumstances and how you're going to cope up with the kids. So many unknowns are there, but it is that innocent surrender, truly just saying yes to, okay, this is something that Swamiji is giving, and I'm going to take it up. And as you guys took it up, everything started flowering, isn't it? The whole, the way how kids started grooming, you can definitely see a shift in how they were before they came to the ecosystem and how they are now. It's something so amazing. And I remember one of the things that you said when you just gave birth to the 8th kid, at the time, how your daughter was taking care of all the 7 kids, and she's just 10-year-old. And being a 10-year-old, she's just taking care of all the kids, and she ensured that the Rudram is being chanted, the temple rituals are being done, the Naivedyam is being cooked. Just a 10-year-old girl, she's managing the whole ecosystem while the mother is having her delivery. So it really inspired me so much, and the power of all these ecosystems, right? That is something so phenomenal in what you guys have experienced. And all of that started because you started saying yes to it immediately, right? When that opportunity came, you did not think about all the no's. I mean, you had all the possible no's that you could have told, but it was Swamiji. And, when Swamiji is giving you this opportunity, you took up that opportunity, and that stood in front of all the other obstacles and impossibilities, or whatever we claim that valid reasons, right? We did not give any valid reasons. We just said, yes, this is something which I want to do, and everything started aligning in place.
That's exactly right. So like somebody says, like, I don't like to say this word, like use it, but it describes it. Like the tyaga is you won't even feel like it's a sacrifice. And this is so true, man. That's why I never say we have given up anything, because it's so not true. Like whatever you feel that you will give up or sacrifice for Swamiji, it never equates to Swamiji himself, you know. It's never valued like. And one thing you're saying about the kids, it just I have the little 2-year-olds, Nitya Sundari. So she comes to me, she comes up to me, she goes, Om Nityananda Paramashivam, Sundari's going to the park. She'll marry. They will all come to us. Actually, we can't even deny it. And it's such a powerful declaration. They have no doubt I'm going to the park now. Off we are going. So this is, you know, such the blessing he's gave us.
Fantastic. And all these ecosystems, you know, one other thing that I remember is how these ecosystems tie all the families, right? Whoever is living around these ecosystems, they all come together. They start living this lifestyle. And by doing so, each of you start empowering each other. So whenever you go, one of the person goes ups and downs, the other person is always there to support. And this is exactly what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Swamiji, has done in reviving the Sanatana Hindu Dharma. Like, one is, he's revived all the ancient Hindu kingdoms. He's the Guru Mahasannidhanam and the Pontiff for 21 ancient Hindu kingdoms, reviving the ones that are completely destroyed because of persecution, and reviving all the 5 pillars of Kailasa in those ecosystems. That is on one hand. And on the other hand, what Swamiji is doing is building these ecosystems around the world. So in a way that all the Hindus around the world can start connecting to it, can start living, can literally feel that this is a practical system where you can experience that oneness with Paramashiva. And 16,000 infrastructures, such ecosystems Swamiji has created in last 30 years. So what you're experiencing in Melbourne is one amongst those 16,000 ecosystems that Swamiji has created in last 30 years. And every single contribution towards the Sarvanya Pita and every single contribution towards the Kailasa is all towards revival and establishing these ecosystems around the world, right? So you can see here a beautiful, blissful family sharing amazing miracles. You know, definitely just getting a house in Melbourne on the very same day, I've never ever heard anybody manifesting that. It goes through a lot of scrutiny. And then just moving into a temple ecosystem on the very same day, you know, as soon as the offer came, everything in their life is all about saying yes to it and then simply manifesting it, right? This level of manifestation is something everybody can do, right? This is not a isolated story. If you see all the families who are inspired by Swamiji, they have million such experiences that really empowers us. So this is the ecosystem that Swamiji is creating around the world, around all the different parts of the spiritual embassies in Kailasa. This powerful ecosystems is what Swamiji is creating, and your contribution towards Sarvanya Pita is going towards revival of these ecosystems, establishing new ecosystems, and making the whole world experience bliss, experience living enlightenment as the very fragrance. So your contribution towards Sarvanya Pita is so valuable in bringing families together, in bringing all the communities together, right? So if you are inspired, if you really feel this is a beautiful way how your savings, your contribution, your life achievements can go towards to, then this is the time for you to sign up in sksjp.org/contribute. Your contribution towards Sarvanya Pita is going to build all these communities around the world, create this beautiful ecosystem where Hinduism, the lifestyle of Hinduism is practiced, and people feel enriched by these sciences that Swamiji is reviving, right? So everybody has a choice to make, right? Whatever you feel that you have earned in this lifetime, how that money can be or wealth can be utilized. You can choose to utilize in perishable things, which has a lifetime, or you can choose to utilize these avenues or revenues in things that are imperishable, creating a beautiful ecosystem around the world where people and community just come together and live that Hinduism, experience such beautiful bliss. It's a beautiful day how you can decide that your contributions can go to, right? So I request everybody to take this moment and sign up in sksjp.org/contribute. This contribution will empower so many communities around the world, Swamiji is reviving all these indigenous communities to start experiencing the true faith, the true values that Hinduism can offer to them. So I request everybody to take a moment and start signing up in skshjp.org/contribute. And, you would like to hear from my Erina. So, coming from this background, how did you manifest Sarvagipita Yajaman? That is something which I would like to really know, because you have shared your life journey so far, and how Swamiji has transformed your life, and from there, how did you take this huge jump? I've heard that you just manifested within a matter of 3 months. So how did that happen?
Oh, Ma, so again, I was living, I started off, the reason why I wanted to do SJP, I was living 34 hours away from the Melbourne Temple. I was living in Alice Springs. And so I always used to see my family and my grandchildren and my son and my daughter-in-law. They were always doing magical things. I always thought, wow, they're doing celebrations there at the temple. There's this beautiful food that keeps on getting put on Zoom and on Facebook and everywhere. And the deities, just everything, every celebration was going on. And I just thought, and the ecosystem they were living in. So I just thought I was missing out. No, it's 36 hours away. I was missing out. So I thought my way that I could contribute to Kailasa was contributing and being SJP, because I lived 36 hours away. And so this started my journey. This is how I started my journey. And how I started, oh my gosh, I made a declaration to be SJP, and no word of a lie, I didn't even have $1,000 in my bank account. I hadn't hardly any money. And I thought, okay, it's going to take me quite a few years to get that amount of money. But I didn't want to wait. No way did I didn't want to wait all those years. So I thought, let me start. Just start. And at the time, my capacity to contribute would have been only about $50. So that's what I started with. I started with $50, and I thought, okay, let me contribute to the local sangha. Let me just give to the local sangha. Let me start with that $50. So I started with the $50. A couple of weeks later, it went to $100 a week. A couple of weeks later, I went to $200 a week. Then it went to $500 a week. This is within probably about a month. I was now up to $500 a week, $1,000 a week, $2,000 a week. I was starting to be able, the possibilities were just coming left, right, and center. I was able to contribute to so many things within my family, within the local sangha. I was able to do so much. And, and I started with $50. But I started, and just the possibilities, they just kept on coming. And then I happened to be at the temple, and Mara and yourself, Mara Pranabrio, you were talking to my son on the phone, and I hopped on the phone, and I got a good advice, and one of the things was to be able to pay $50,000 right there and then. And I didn't even think about it. I just said, okay. And Ma, I had $51,300 in my bank account, and that had saved that up for my taxes. Right? And I didn't even I just didn't even think. I just said, no, just give it. Just give it. So gave it, and my husband was sitting in the next room. $50,000 out of our bank account, right? I've been very, very blessed with my husband. He has been very supportive of our whole family and all our grandchildren with whatever we've wanted to do with Kailasa as well, and Kailasa as well. So anyway, we did that, and my good work was to do the Hijra for 3 months. I'm like, wow, I can't read. I can't read it, and I can't understand it. Okay, just let me put it on. So for 3 months, I did the Hijra. Actually, I carried that on for 17 months. But coming up, this is all in a span of 3 months. So I went from that $50 to almost Guru Purnima. So Guru Purnima, about 20 hours before it was Guru Purnima, I needed 189,000. That's how much I needed Australian dollars, 189,000. And I was like, wow, okay, let me just put myself in this office in my house and be ferocious about it. And Swamiji just like possibilities after possibility, and he just manifested everything, you know, like right down to the last 10 hours before Guru Purnima started. I had all the money, $189,000. And
oh my God.
Yeah, and all I had to do was transfer it over. You know, and so like my husband, he had come up, first of all, I had asked him, hey, can I have 40,000? He said no. And then I asked him again, hey, can I have 30,000? He said no. And, you know, all my life, if I didn't get what I wanted, I'd have a tantrum. I'd jump up and down, have a tantrum. This is the first time ever in my whole entire life I felt really I just felt peaceful. I said, okay, that's fine. And I went back in my room, and he came in. How much do you need? He gave me the 40,000. And then at the last bit, he said, okay, how much more do you need? And I said, I need $8,000. He said, I have $8,000 for you. So, you know, my journey was just like, and since then, since then, it's been a couple of years now, Swamiji has taken care of me and my family, my children, all my grandchildren, everybody, everything. He has taken care, oh gosh, everything. We haven't been without anything in our lives. So it was just for us to make that decision. Once we made that decision, everything opened up. Just all the possibilities opened up. Yeah, that's my journey to being SJP.
Okay. This is truly phenomenal, like really. Somebody who has started their journey towards becoming a Savingapita Yajaman from $50, right? And deciding that, okay, whatever I have, I'm going to start. I'm not going to think. And I'm going to first give. So from 50, move to 100, 100 to 2,000, and 1,000 to 2,000. And every week, 2,000. And then saying, okay, just in a few weeks, got it to $50,000. And when the call came, there is absolutely, like you said, there is no thinking process. You know, as we were telling, you said, yes, I want to do it. And then you just transfer the $50,000, and in just 3 months, doing Rudram. You know, Rudram is definitely a chant that needs training in Sanskrit, I would say. And just intensely working and sitting and doing the Rudram, whatever the third eye scan revealed. And in 3 months, being able to manifest it. Wow. I think it is a powerful understanding. See, what I really learned from this, Ma, is mainly whenever a task or whenever something is coming up, we always try to visualize the whole thing, right? And we just get mixed up and we feel overwhelmed, or we feel we cannot do it. And most of the time we stop all these possibilities. We don't say, okay, this is what life is showing me now. Let me start. Let me take the first step. Right? That is the best thing. What you have done is, instead of feeling I don't have money at all, I have a bank account with $50 in it. What do you mean by saying I can manifest $200,000? Instead, you were very clear that you want to start with what you have. Right? This is my intention to be, and I am my intention to be. I want to start with what I have. Right? That is the most powerful thing what you have done. And I'm sure so many of the viewers, all of you have those intention. We really want to be part of Kailasa. We really want to contribute to Kailasa. We really want to support this Sarvangapita. So many of you have got that intention. But what is really making my arena and the family to manifest this space of Sarvangapita Yajaman is because they started with what they have. Today we can make that start. All the viewers, all the participants, whoever is here listening to this, let us make that start, right? We just don't need to wait. We don't need to see the whole picture. We can start with what we have. Really, we can start with what we have. And that's how she started with $50. And, in just a few months, with her saying that yes to life and that innocent surrender, Swamiji is taking care of it. I'm going to do what I can do. And really, Swamiji is moving everything for me. So that space that you radiated, right? Today, you become a Sarvangapita Yajaman from this humble beginnings. So beautiful, such a powerful sharing. And I would like to request all the viewers, whoever is feeling that, wow, somebody can just manifest Sarvangapita Yajaman, $200,000, starting from $50 per week. It is possible. It is possible for each and every one of you. It is not just a story of Arena. It is a story of all of us. Whoever is saying yes to Swamiji, whoever is saying, having that innocent surrender, okay, I'm going to take that first step. Swamiji is going to move planets for me. Having that innocent surrender, having that faith that Swamiji is moving everything. All I need to do is just take that first step. So I request everybody, today you can take that sankalpa. Today you can actually make that sankalpa that to start with your first step. Right? By you signing up and then saying, okay, this is the contribution I want to make. Firstly, you are saying yes to life. You are saying yes to Swamiji flowing through you. He is going to manifest the whole thing through you. Don't even think about, okay, I don't have this much money. I don't have resources. It is not the resources or money that is going to make you a Sarvangapita Yajaman. It is really your intention. How strong your intention is and how strong you're vibrating with that cause. That's, that is exactly what I see in my arena when she said, okay, I started chanting Rudram, and then in 3 months, just one day before Guru Purnima, I mean, that was so incredible. $180,000 to be manifested one day before Guru Purnima, and you just made it happen. It's truly inspiring. Right, and we have many such beautiful sharings from this family, and I thank all of you whoever has joined, all 3 of you, to join this session and share your life journey with all of us. And we'd like to share anything else with our viewers before we go to Alkesh Patel from joining us from California, who also has very special sharings to share with all of us. Do you have anything else to share before we move to Alkesh?
Thank you, Ma, for that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And truly, it is inspiring and so much value, so much, you've definitely enriched all of us, all the viewers, what it takes to have that space of innocence and surrender. Thank you so much. Right, and now we have Alkesh Patelji from California, who's a physician and who's here to share a very special journey. I would say very special journey, such a short amount of time, getting inspired by Swamiji's teachings and getting inspired by Swamiji's ecosystem. And now he's a Sarvangapita Yajaman, Sarvangapita manifestor, who's working towards becoming an Yajaman. So it's my pleasure to welcome Alkesh Patelji.
Nityananda.
Fantastic. Okay. So would you like to share with us, your journey? How did it start? How did you meet Swamiji, and how did it all begin?
So first of all, deepest gratitude to Bhagwan for being, this is an opportunity to be here. And thank you, Ma, for also inviting us. And such an amazing, inspiring story from the family in Australia. It's like really inspiring, especially for Ma, that at $50 and to become a manifester within such a short time, really, really inspiring. And it shows you the potential we have, right? Like Swamiji always talks about the peak potential. And once you are in that oneness space and leave it up to him, and he says that all the time, that leave it up to me, and then the peak possibilities happen quite easily. Same thing with our journey, where we chose a lot of pain points to evolve, unfortunately. And Alpa and I moved from East Coast to San Diego a few years ago because of the health issues. And about 3 to 4 years ago, approximately, we met one of the disciples of Swamiji in one of the gym that we exercise, and I met a disciple named Arun, and I was talking to him one day about the story and how we moved from East Coast to San Diego. And he said immediately that you go and go to the temple in Los Angeles, and why don't you visit the temple with the family? And we said, sure, yeah. So we at one point we took there was a Homa going on, Rudra Homa going on, and we attended the Homa during that weekend. And during that time also, we were introduced to meet Mahatma, and she was able to actually do healing right away to Alpaji. And it was such a fascinating, because the experience that we had just walking in the Garbha Mandir at the temple was fascinating. The energy was so intense. As soon as we walked past Kala Bhairava, the energy was so beautiful. And like I said, there were no thoughts. It almost like the mind was no longer in space, going through time and space. And we had never had such experience. It was just magical. And at that point, we just realized that this is the temple that we feel kind of home. And everybody was so kind and compassionate to Alpa and us, and it was such a magical experience. So, and since that time, 2019, right before the pandemic, and then right after that, everything opened up. We attended all the initiations. We attended PSM2 during the COVID-19, and everything just blossomed. At that point, Swamiji was doing so many initiations back to back, and all 4 of us, including my 2 children, were able to receive the initiation for Shiva Diksha and Visita Diksha. So that really manifested itself in such a beautiful transformation over time. And we were able to do daily, puja and connecting with Guru Puja and Shiva Puja, and also following a very clean sattvic lifestyle with yogic principles and daily yoga routine at 4 o'clock in the morning, and really cherishing the space with our guru. So yeah, it's magical, and journey has been nothing but spectacular throughout the last several years.
Wow. I think one of the things which you mentioned is, I'm sure you've definitely gone to several countries, several temples in India, and several temples in US as well. Out of all the other places, that energy that you feel in LA temple, right? That's something that we have heard from many other devotees and disciples whoever has been part of any of the Kailasa ecosystem. That's mainly because of how Swamiji is doing the prana pratishtha to the deities. He literally births the deity, he gives birth to the deity by pouring the energy into the matter. So that sacred prana pratishtha makes us all feel the deities are living entities. Did you have any such experiences being part of the LA ecosystem? How did you connect with the deities?
So as soon as like I say, as soon as we enter the Garbha Mandir, the energy of Venkateswara Swami, Mahaganapati, Nityanandeswari, and Swamiji himself, and then Rajeswari on the other side, the Cosmic Mother, they're literally like, they're just alive. They're just live, and they're literally hugging you and welcoming you. And it's like the experience like we were home, because the mother and your father, they're literally hugging you, welcoming you. And like I said, we were beyond speech, beyond any kind of thoughts, or there is a truly heart-to-heart connection, right? Like the vibrational frequency that the heart was feeling was nothing but joy and love. And such a transformational experience that really evolved since that point on. And like I said, it was nothing but magical for us. Nothing but magical. And we've gone to my son and I took a trip down to South India back in 2019, right after our first call with Swamiji, Dial the Avatar. The first Pada Puja we did, within a month, my son says, I want to go to India, because he was having a non-profit organization called Planting Pencils to supply supplies in India and Africa. So he said, I want to go and drop the school supplies to schools in India. And we took a trip in a week, and we had called, Swamiji had called us, and my son says, Swamiji, I want to see you. And he's like, well, I can't see you right now, but it will, just, have fun in India. Because he didn't know, my son didn't know at that point. He was like 13. He had no idea where Swamiji was. And he asked Swamiji, I want to see you. And he said, like, it will happen at some point. But he said, why don't you go to India and you'll have a wonderful time. Again, it was completely unprepared. I had to get a visa. I had to get a ticket. Everything happened beautifully within 10 days. We had no friction. We had no problem with anything, with getting a visa, with getting a ticket. And the most important thing is that during the entire time, in 14 days, we went to Somanatha Temple, to Dwarka, to Madurai, Rameshwaram Temple, Kashi Vishwanath, and all the Tamil Nadu South India Temple, Tirumala Temple, in 14 days with maybe a 2 or 3 hour sleep. 2 or 3 hours sleep while I was still working, because my practice was still open and I had to attend to the practice and so forth. I was literally working from the car, having a Wi-Fi connection, traveling through the South India and North India. And we had no problem anywhere else. And then normally I typically get sick in India, especially my son who's never been there before. We had no illness, no sickness, despite sleeping 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, and eating almost nothing but peanuts and mangoes. So it was, and when we compared that space of temples, of course, beautiful temples, and then I walked into the LA temple, I mean, like I said, the experience was just beyond words. It's just, the energy is so intense in the mandir. You can just sit and just fall into a completely non-awareness zone that you have no idea where you are.
Sorry. So I've heard very similar things from so many devotees, and I myself have personally experienced the same thing in Melbourne ecosystem, where you can literally feel the deity is talking to you. You can feel the deity is breathing. You can feel the deity is actually having the prasad. So it's all such a powerful way how Swamiji has inspired Hindus to live Hinduism. See, before I met Swamiji, always I never believed any of these possibilities existed. And it is only Swamiji, through this Prana Pratishtha process, authentically reviving the temple ecosystem in every dimension. He has made it very legitimate to all the Hindus that everything that we have heard from Puranas and Shastras, everything is real. Nothing is made up, nothing is a mythology here. It is a science, and that science has got forgotten because of delusion and because of all the persecution that we went through. And here Swamiji is reviving all these sciences and making Hindus really be proud of their identity, right? And today, as you're sharing, we've gone to so many temples, but nothing like this powerful space where we really feel that deity is alive. All these huge deities, they're literally alive and awakening all the inner potential energy and everything. And this is exactly what Swamiji is doing through Sarangapikas, by creating all these ecosystems around the world that can make people powerfully feel the impact that Hinduism has on your being. It is not just as a philosophy or a theory, but rather you start living this lifestyle, you start experiencing so many benefits out of this lifestyle. So I request everybody to contribute towards this cause where you powerfully feel that living Hinduism is real, and that is the only solution which can make people feel powerful about themselves. So all you can do is join the skshjp.org/contribute. In this way, you can contribute towards this divine cause of setting up of ecosystems around the world through this Sarangapita initiative. And Alpesh ji, now I'd like to hear from you, like, one is the temple ecosystem that you are inclined and how it evolved, your connection. And from there, all the COVID experiences, right? How did this feeling connection further develop? What are the different breakthroughs that you experienced within you after being connected to Swamiji and the ecosystem?
So yeah, we had tremendous, especially like I said, being a physician, relying on purely on data and science. It was such an unknown territory to really see patients now without actually being in the physical room. So during the pandemic, all of a sudden I was at the point where like we had no idea how to connect with people other than a camera. So I really connected with Swamiji, and Alpa and I really wanted to become healers, and we had asked for it. And during the COVID pandemic, through his grace, this body had healed probably over 300 to 500 people, a minimum 300 to 500 people in just a short time, from anything from anxiety attacks to stomach pains to kidney stones to blood pressure. It was like really just such an amazing experience to see for somebody like me who has really been nothing but relying on science and data, such a linear dimension of life existence, to really go beyond something that you can actually see or feel. But I knew that deep down, in fact, one of my first patient that I had done, the Swami had done the healing through me, was somebody was having kidney stones at 2 o'clock in the morning. And this person didn't want to go to ER. He declined to go to ER. He says, I don't want to go. So I had nothing. I didn't know what else to do. I felt kind of helpless. I sat down in front of Swamiji and just said, listen, we got to heal this person because he's in so much pain. And I said, I'm sending you healing energy. And within, like I said, within probably 30 minutes, I called back. It was East Coast time. I was in West Coast. And his wife picked up the phone and she said the pain is completely subsided at that point. So kidney stones, typically people wind up in ER. They have to get a CAT scan. They have to get IV fluids. They have to get pain medications. So actually see something like that in 30 minutes. And I can give you numbers of examples like that. Like people had, conditions throughout the pandemic. And for me and my wife, particularly when she was doing the same thing with people and family, it was beyond like words, because as physicians, we rely so much on data and science and knowledge. And this is beyond you can experience. So this was really, really out of the word to really even see that how the healing was happening beautifully. And I remember one of his old satsang. I didn't even know how to do healing. I just say I wanted it. I had no idea what to do, even whether to chant mantra, whether to do something. And this was during the pandemic where we couldn't even see anybody or couldn't even do Atmalinga holding. So I had no idea. And then after probably 3 or 4 months, I had gone across the videos of Swamiji, old videos, when he was probably in his teenage years, and he talks about how he was doing healing. And he said, I just walked away. I let the Paramashiva kind of do it. I just made sure I wasn't there. And it's funny because my wife and I exactly were doing the same thing. We walked away. We said, listen, we're not present. We don't want to engage with our delusional mind or any kind of memories. So that's kind of how it happened. But what was ironic that he made it happen just the way it's supposed to happen without us even knowing about it. So he's the best bioenergy engineer I've ever seen.
That is so true. Yeah, like Swamiji, you remind me of one line Swamiji always shared, is we think that we are an accident, but we are an incident. Everything is a divine orchestration in our lives, like how Swamiji made it happen the way exactly it has to happen. He knows what really shifts each being, right? The kind of experiences that he gives to each person is so unique. You just feel that exactly this is exactly what I wanted to hear, and Swamiji has made it happen the way I would shift, right? That it is so personalized. The whole connection and journey of each and every being that Swamiji has empowered is so personalized. And so many times I've realized myself, like, it is happening exactly the way I would connect with. And that is exactly how Swamiji would have done it in my life. And that is exactly what I'm hearing from you also. And now, from this, how did it progress towards, your intention to become a Sarvagna Yajman? How did that happen?
So again, we were evolving very, very rapidly by a state of just simply surrendering and being in his space, and anything sort of came through us. Anybody came, anybody called, anything that was approached to us from anything in life as a whole, not just the Sangha or Kailasa, but we took it as a message of Paramashiva at the end through coming through Swamiji. And so, one of the Kalabhairava Akashic reading, I was in the East Coast again for work, and I happened to get on it. And the first thing the Kalabhairava said that you're going to become SJP. And again, so ignorant that I had no idea what SJP was, being raised in a Hindu family, and I had no idea what. I had to actually Google it and look it up. And so at that point, like kind of things just settled in and so forth. And over time, during the last several months, there is so much growth has happened, not just the external world, but also internal world, that we realize the SJP is a responsibility for all Hindus, any Hindu particularly practicing and really believe in the mission of Kailasa, Sri Kailasa Nation. The SJP opportunity is basically Paramashiva is calling you and say, listen, do it, right? So the fact that when he came to me, it was like, wake up, just drop all your imaginations and all the ideas and concepts you have, and just accept it, right? So yeah, it was out of ignorance. Took a little while to digest it, but I realized, and one day, like Alpine and I were talking about it, I said, listen, SJP is such an amazing opportunity, and we have to, not only the entire family is going to become SJP. It's not an option that we will or not. It will be going to become SJP, right? It's transforming. SJP Karta, SJP Yajman, Ishwara, whatever it is, that it's just going to expand. The space is going to continue to expand. There's no option beyond that. As long as its body is there, it's going to continue to expand through the grace of my Guru.
Fantastic, Aya. It's so beautiful to share your journey and how Swamiji has empowered you and your family. It's truly enriching for all of us. And thank you so much for joining the segment today. And definitely, your realistic sharings, definitely so many different aspects that you touched upon. I'm sure so many of us can start connecting and relating to it. And all it really takes is that innocent surrender. Like when you said, getting a call and Kalavirva's blessing. How you responded to life is nothing but just saying yes to it and then saying, okay, let me start my journey. That starting your journey is what has made you who you are today. And throughout your journey, that's something which I have learned. Thank you so much for joining the segment today and sharing with all the viewers your wonderful beginnings. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mom. Thank you.
So that was Alkesh Ji from. Yes, that was Alkesh Ji from United States, who's sharing his journey today. And I'm sure all of you thoroughly enjoyed today's program, where we are getting to learn more and more about what it takes to become a Sarvanipita Yajaman or a Sarvanipita manifestor. It's really your innocent surrender. Just saying yes to life. Don't even think about whether you have resources, whether you have ability to manifest, what are my possibilities, what will my family say. All these impossibilities really don't matter. It only boils down to, are you ready to do it? Are you ready to have an intention that you are going to manifest it no matter what? It is just that intensity of your intention. All the intentions of SJP, I really request, today let us take that decision to have that innocent surrender and start our step. Whatever we have, let us put it as a first deposit. Or we can start our journey by saying that I'm going to intensely manifest SJP. Right? So I request all of you to sign up in sksjp.org/contribute. And today in this segment also would like to share, since, one thing that we learned from all these wonderful sharings of people who come from different backgrounds and age groups, it's all about that innocent surrender, having that trust that Swamiji is going to make it happen. And I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to, do my little steps, and Swamiji is moving the whole thing, right? So with this powerful cognition of innocent surrender, let us take a moment to manifest a power. Always Swamiji has told, every powerful cognition leads to a power manifestation, right? Always a powerful cognition leads to a power manifestation. So now we'll take this moment to manifest power of consciousness over matter, right? So I request all the participants to take a needle and have that needle in front of you in your hand, on your palm, or on the floor. And now, with the power of your consciousness, you can move the needle towards you, right? And how do we do it? Swami has beautifully shared the science, It is your will. If you want to move your body, if you want to move your hand, you are not doing anything other than willing it. You're having your will, and that will is actually making your hand or body move. Right? Same way, the body and hand is nothing but matter. Just like the needle. If your will can move your body and hand, same way, the very same will can move the needle also. Right? So from this powerful cognition, just surrender all your SDHDs, impossibilities. Oh, I've done the power manifestation before. I don't know if it will work. Whatever impossibilities that you're having, just drop it. Surrender it to Swamiji. And from that space, let us do power manifestation for a few minutes. I request everybody to take a needle and keep it in front of you. And you can start time stamping and recording the video as you are manifesting. Right. So now let's start the power manifestation. Requesting all of you to take a moment and connect with Swamiji in your third eye. Chant Mahavakya. Chant Mahavakya. Intensely connect with Swamiji for you to manifest this power. Continue to chant Mahavakya, and with Swamiji's grace and blessings, all of you will be able to manifest power. And whoever is not able to manifest the power, whoever is having the SDHD, you can post your name in the chat. You can post your name in the event page to request for a scan. Please understand, this power manifestation will help you to manifest SJP. It is simply going to make you feel powerful, one with Paramashiva, one with Swamiji, and you start feeling that, yes, all I need to do is just take my first step. If I'm going to take the first step, Swamiji is going to move planets for me, right? So with that understanding, it's going to move now. So just have this intention, have this sankalpa when you're moving this needle towards you. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Continue to chant Mahavakya, and with Swamiji's grace and blessings, simply you'll be able to make it happen. Requesting all of you to continue to chant Mahavakya, and With Swamiji's grace and blessing, we'll be able to move all the impossibilities and manifest the power of consciousness over matter.
Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Paramashivam. Om Nityananda 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 Paramashivam. Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda. Your fears, incompletions, insecurities, nothing is needed for you to exist. Paramashiva alone is enough for you to live absolutely, blissfully, celebrating, fulfilled, complete, intensely. Paramashivam. Om Nityananda 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 Paramashivam.
Right, and now we will see the results. Whoever is able to manifest it, you can start posting that in the FB event page. And if you need a scan, if you need a third eye scan, you can also post that in the FB event page. And I'm seeing my Yogamala sharing that it is an enriching session. Thank you so much, my Yogamala. If there is anybody who would like to request for a third eye scan, you can actually post that in the FB event page. Right. And with this, we come to the end of this session. And we come to the end of this session. And if you have any feedback, any comments, please leave a comment and we will attend to it. Thank you so much all for joining the session today. And it was truly rewarding just to listen to all the beautiful stories and sharings from the devotees around the world. With that note, we'd like to finish this session with the Purna Mantra. And to all the kickoff program participants for Maha Paramashivam, we are going to be having the darshan of Swamiji, who's going to manifest as a Sadashiva Murti. So please get ready for the darshan and we'll finish this session with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Hari Om Tatsat Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nityananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu Om Nityanandam. Thank you all, Nityanandam.
Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam.